In this day and age of everything electronic, is it still a good idea to carry boat cards? Hi, I'm Nika Waters, and welcome to the Boat Galley podcast. Today, I'm sharing 3 reasons why I think it's important to still carry a physical boat card when you go cruising. Today's episode of the Boat Galley podcast is sponsored by Julie Bradley, best-selling author of 2 sailing classics, Escape from the Ordinary and Crossing Pirate Waters. Warning, these books are hard to put down. Join Glenn and Julie for off-the-beaten-path adventures in extraordinary places. Claw through Force 10 storms with them, and hold your breath through pirate-infested parts of the Mideast. Julie's witty, vibrant writing takes you along with every twist and turn. At times, you'll wish you were there, and others, you'll be really glad you weren't. These books take you along for the trip of a lifetime. Find both books and more at juliebradleyauthor.com. That's Juliebradleyauthor.com. One of the things that I actually am enjoying as I'm reading Julie's first book, Escape from the Ordinary, is her conversation about how writing forced her and helped her to quantify and qualify the experience that she and her husband Glenn were having. Now, I'm not going to equate carrying a boat card with writing a book. Not even close. But for most of us, the idea of writing a book might not be the creative endeavor that we would like it to be. But one reason that I think it's important to carry your own boat cards is exactly that. It's creative. It's something fun that you can spend some time thinking about and putting together, and every time you share that boat card, you're sharing a part of your creativity. So one reason to carry a boat card is that you get to exercise your creativity in a way that helps to remind you of what your world was like. A second reason, honestly, is that it's really fun to exchange something tangible. Yes, everybody's got their phones and electronic devices, and you can certainly tap in and share your email address because, let's face it, most of us out there now are communicating via email. But having something tangible means you can hand it over to take with you as you're going to another boat for sundowners. At some point, we're going to be able to do that again, I promise. But that tangible thing makes a really big difference. It's lovely to be able to hand it over. It's a conversation starter. It's kind of a neat thing just to share. And the third reason is when your cruise is done and you're holding on to those cards, just picking one up and looking at it will remind you of people and places and incredible conversations and connections that you had. We had this happen when we were going through our house, getting it ready to sell almost a year ago, I guess close to a year ago at this point. And I opened up one of the many window seats that we had in the house and just pulled out all the crap that had been accumulating there. And in there was an old camera case that had some cameras and some lenses, but also it had a whole chunk of our boat cards from the very first trip that we did in the early 90s. Oh my gosh. Remembering people, remembering stories and particular adventures that we shared, that served as dinner conversation fodder for the next couple of weeks. I don't think that a mere entry in a cell phone with an email address would bring to life specific things more than just holding on to those boat cards. So even in this day and age of electronic everything, I still will argue that carrying a boat card with you, and by a boat card, it's basically like a business card for your boat. And maybe for some people, that's a legitimizing reason to carry a boat card, is that it feels like, oh, there's a little vestige of my business life. I have a card I can hand you, and there you go. But these might have a picture on it. They might have information like your ham call sign or your email address. There might be a boat picture. There might be a description so that somebody can remember you easily. Often there's a spot on the back for you to jot down notes as you've received these cards, and you can jot down memory joggers that you then get to experience again later. So please, create a boat card, because when we share an anchorage, I'll definitely be handing over my boat card, and it would be lovely if you had one that you could give me too. Thank you so much for listening to the Boat Galley podcast. We love hearing from our listeners. If you check in the show notes, there's actually my contact information and Carolyn's. We love it when you share this podcast with your friends, and we certainly love it when you subscribe, because if you subscribe, you'll never miss an episode.
Slow down.